What we got up first?
All right. Well, according to IGN, nearly 2 years after officially announcing the new Daredevil TV show was in development, Disney has officially announced that the new series will be out March of 2025, while showing the first trailer behind closed doors at a Disney Upfront 2024 event. The new trailer, which has not been released to the public yet, shows Matt Murdock donning the iconic Daredevil suit while narrating that the entire system is against you. It's often David versus Goliath. It includes, among other things, glimpses of Kingpin, Foggy, and Karen. John, is this a good day for Daredevil?
I don't know.
Ooh.
I mean, listen, I get it. There was the writer's strikes. There were delays. There was all that kind of stuff. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they announced this thing in early 2022. We're talking about this show now coming out 3 years after they made this big grand announcement about them doing the show. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm very excited for it. I really, really am. But I honestly feel like they should have targeted, and I understand they got other stuff that they've got coming. They've got Agatha coming out on Disney Plus this year, but I really feel like they should have targeted, and I feel like they're ready to have this thing come out in 2024. So I think they're waiting a little bit too long for it. But I mean, whatever. I'm super excited for the show. I can't wait to see it, and I'm sure it's going to be great. Rob, what about you?
Look, dude, as we watch this show morph into the Netflix series over the years,
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say that with every change, I've become more enthusiastic. Obviously, I think Daredevil was the high water mark of the Marvel shows on Netflix, and I have to say, you know, seeing Daredevil and She-Hulk made me nostalgic. I'm like, damn it, I want more Daredevil, and we're getting it. And waiting till 2025, though, I'm kind of with you. Like, I hope it's good, but do we have to wait? I mean, I could get hit by a bus. I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah, look, I'm glad you brought up the She-Hulk thing. Because as much as I crap on the She-Hulk show, and as much as everybody craps on the She-Hulk show, for good reason, I will defend a couple of things about it. And one of the big things I will defend about it was Matt in the show. Now, did they a little over CGI some combat stuff? Sure. But I mean, let's just face it. There's certain things they wanted Daredevil to be able to do that you couldn't do in a practical stunt. So, I mean, that's fine, whatever. But I still contend, as bad as She-Hulk was, the Matt Murdock in his Daredevil costume doing the walk of shame with his boots over his shoulder is one of the funniest things I saw on TV that year. I thought that was great. And I don't care what anybody else says. She-Hulk twerking with Cardi B, I thought that is exactly something She-Hulk would do. Yeah, I thought that part was great.
100%. I mean, I'm still perplexed by they had the comic, you know, the John Byrne run of that comic, laid it right out for them. You know, and the idea of doing a genre, you know, doing the legal TV procedural, it was all right there. And it was every episode tried to get away from doing that. And I'm like, I know what? You have an incredible star. But anyway, Daredevil, can't wait.
By the way, I've been corrected in the live chat. It was Megan Thee Stallion.
Megan Thee Stallion.
Not Cardi B.
Yeah.
I apologize. I get my pop stars confused sometimes.
It happens.
And it happens.
And that was funny.
And it was funny.
It was funny.
I mean, look, you don't have to change your opinion that the show was terrible because the show was terrible. To acknowledge that a couple of moments were really good. That moment was really good. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? We've got a release date now for Daredevil Born Again, but it's not until 2025. Look, we're all looking forward to the show, but don't you think they should have released it a little bit earlier? Maybe you don't. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's get on to the next topic, shall we? Jonathan, what's up next?
Well, get ready for more Lara Croft, guys. This time on a television show. According to CBR, Amazon is officially moving forward with Phoebe Waller-Bridge's live-action Tomb Raider series. The project, which has been in development since January of 23, has just been ordered to series by the streamer. Amazon and MGM Studios head Jen Salk described the upcoming project as an epic and globe-trotting series. At this time, Waller-Bridge, who is perhaps best known for creating and starring in the acclaimed series Fleabag, is only attached to Tomb Raider in a writing capacity. So no cast for the series has been set. Rob, do you like the idea of bringing Lara Croft to the small screen?
I do. And before anybody, you know, flays me alive for saying this, Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a great writer, you know, and I thought Fleabag was an unbelievable show. And I think that she'll bring an edge to it. I just hope, like everything else, the core values of Lara Croft. She's a female Indiana Jones, the adventuring, the excitement, the action, the kick-ass character. I mean, I was a fan of the two movies. You know, I thought they were pretty good. And if they can bring some of that fun, and even the last film with Alicia Vikander, that was pretty good too. I mean, I'd love to see that kind of thing done well, because I was disappointed by Uncharted, and if they can bring that sort of thing back, I would enjoy it.
Here's the thing. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is not a good writer. She's a world-class writer. She has 7 Emmy nominations.
Yeah.
As both a producer and a writer. She was nominated for Best Writing for Killing Eve. And if any of you want to say Killing Eve wasn't a wonderfully written show, I don't know what to tell you.
And
and
especially
she was,
the first season was so good.
Yeah, and she was a producer on the series as well and stuff like that. Then she does Fleabag. She wins the Emmy for Best Writing. She wins an Emmy for Best Actress, wins an Emmy for Best Comedy Show. You know, she's won 3 Emmys, a lot of accolades as a writer. Now, I know a lot of people, including me, when I first saw the headline, I thought, I like Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I don't see her as Lara Croft. She's not going to be Lara Croft. She's writing the series.
Yes.
Which is, but now the question I have though, is it a good idea to make this into a TV series?
Well, that's a different story.
Yeah, because as a video game franchise, there's no doubt it's been hugely successful. But as an on-screen narrative property, not so much. Check this out. If we go back and look at the movies that have come out, the first Tomb Raider made $275 million, which for its time, that's not bad for it was. Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, which introduced me to Daniel Craig, came out in 2003. It dipped significantly at the box office with $160 million. And then in 2018, I agree with you, Rob, a really fun little Tomb Raider movie with Alicia Vikander, a top 10 movie of the year, no, but a fun little movie.
Yeah, well done.
It only made $275 million. So it's not like this has been some huge, iconic screen IP. But listen, these are the people who gave us Marvelous Ms. Maisel, who gave us The Boys, who gave us Fallout, so I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And you've got a 3-time Emmy winner writing the series. I think it's worth taking a shot on.
I do too.
Although I wonder how successful it can actually be, though.
But I gotta say, John, video game derived shows
are getting better.
Getting better. I have to say, Elizabeth has been watching Fallout. She started watching Fallout. She said to me the other day, she's like, "This show is really fun." I didn't think I would like this show, and I'm like, "Well, it is fun. Yes, it is."
Moses Perez in the live chat just said Chris Pratt as Tomb Raider. I can totally see it. Chris Pratt's doing everything right now. You know what I think? One of the first times if I'm not wrong, I think one of the first times I went over to Anne's house when we were dating, I think Ray was there playing a Tomb Raider video game.
Oh yeah, it was.
I think that might have been the first time I met you were playing Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
You got any interest in a Tomb Raider TV series?
I really like the one with Alicia Vikander.
Yeah.
That probably.
By the way, Walton Goggins. Speaking of Fallout, Walton Goggins was the bad guy in that.
Yeah.
That was like I think the best movie out of the ones that have come out. I don't know. It all depends. I mean, I like adventure. You're saying Phoebe Waller isn't going to be Lara Croft, right?
No, she's just writing.
She was in Indiana Jones. We saw a little bit of adventure from her right there. I'll watch it. It's on Prime Video.
I think
it's on Amazon.
It's gonna be an
I've been
Amazon
watching
series.
a lot of stuff on Amazon only because it's there. I mean, that's one of the things. Like when you have Prime, like you get that stuff. So of course I'm gonna watch it. I've been watching some crazy stuff on Prime lately. One is called What Happened or something like that, where it's every disaster in the world that they have on video. It's like they explain what happened.
Oh, you love watching YouTube disaster videos. You watch that crap all the time. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? They've gotten a multi-time Emmy winner to now write this Lara Croft Tomb Raider series for Amazon. Do you like the idea of trying to translate this into a television series? Maybe you think it should stick as a video game. Maybe you think it should stick as movies. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to our third topic today, shall we? Jonathan, what we got up next?
Well, it's taken us a while to get here, but Agatha has finally received an official title. And
I don't
release
believe
date. Well, we'll see. According to Variety, the series will now officially be called Agatha All Along.
Shouldn't that have been the title from the beginning?
All Along.
All along.
Will debut on Disney Plus with 2 episodes on Wednesday, September 18th. John, are you looking forward to Agatha? And do you think this is the actual final title?
All right. So here's the thing. I have been dying for this show. I don't care what anybody says. I have been dying for this show.
She's great.
I loved Catherine Hahn in WandaVision as Agatha. I thought she was a great character. I think there's, especially when they did those episodes showing her background in Salem and all that kind of stuff. Listen, there is some wicked stuff you could do with her that I am very excited about, and I think it'll be great. Now, this whole adventure we've been on about the titling.
It's certainly
Let's anybody forget. Just take a look at this. So, in December of 2021, the show was going to be called House of Harkness. Then in July of 2022, it got its name changed to Agatha Coven of Chaos. Not a bad title.
I think it got better.
They were pretty good. Then the next one, in September of 2023, they changed the name to Agatha Darkhold Diaries. Then in March, they said, nah, the title is just going to be Agatha. And even though it was just a joke, 2 days ago, Marvel on their official social media channels dropped this image of a new logo. Do you got that, Jonathan?
It's right behind you.
Oh, it's right behind me. Agatha, the lying witch with a great wardrobe. Of course, playing on the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe theme. This went up on Marvel's official site and then disappeared about 5 minutes later.
That one was terrible.
They were just
I think
just
that was
kidding.
a joke. I think that one was a joke. But all leading to Agatha All Along, which I actually think they knew this was the title all along. I think they've been going through this, just keep everybody in. You know what? If I'm right, and I don't know that I am, but if I'm right, and they've known the whole time that the name of the show was going to be Agatha All Along.
It's funny.
And not only is it funny, bring this graphic up again. From December of 2021,
They've been trolling us.
they have kept us talking about Agatha by doing these fake title changes. For the past 2.5 years, they've had us keep talking. Oh, wait, it's been a while since they've been talking about Agatha. Let's say we change the title again.
Oh, wow.
Coven of Chaos. And we're talking about it again.
Wow.
Then some time passes. Now it's Darkhold Diaries. We're talking about it again. So if I'm right, and I might be totally wrong, but if I'm right and All Along has been the title all along, pretty brilliant.
If
What?
it is, that's very genius because he did a little mini troll at that presentation with the Captain America Serpent Society.
The Serpent Society.
Yeah,
that's
did
right.
that in a smaller scale. So if this is true, genius.
And by the way, and it's coming out in September.
Genius.
So I am very, very excited about it. Have it come around in getting into the Halloween season, which is a pretty good thing for this. I know there's been a lot of people who've been very mild in their temperature on this, and I don't get it. I'm very excited for this, and I hope it's better than a few things Marvel's put on Disney Plus.
Okay,
What do you think, Rob?
I got a question.
All right.
Are we going to get the theme song? A banger, a new rendition of this with a full theme song, with
Has
all the
to.
lyrics?
Has to.
I think.
I mean,
so.
doesn't it?
If they're going to call it this, and
You got to use the theme song.
And are they going? Is the style of it going to be like, say, Bewitched, or I Dream of Jeannie, or is it going to go dark and serious, or is it going to have that WandaVision bent to it?
I think it's going to be a bit of both.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have some wackiness to it, which I want it to because it works so well with Wanda and
Right?
Because
If they pull it off, what they couldn't do with She-Hulk, I think that, like you, I'm excited for this show. I think they're going to lean into. They already gave us a taste with WandaVision, but they're going to lean into that whatever it's going to be, whatever they're leaning into. I don't know yet, but I think it's going to be fun.
Now,
Whatever.
here's a question. Here's a question I got for you guys. Because it's too bad Chris Carr isn't here because I'm sure she'd be bringing it up right now. Is Agatha finally going to be the vehicle that we meet Mephisto. Because everybody's been saying Mephisto for years. Every new Marvel, Mephisto. But could this one actually be? Because, like we said, Rob, I think it's going to be a balance of the wacky with darker, with the the dark witchcraft. Could Mephisto play a role in this? Do you think?
I do.
Okay,
I do because look, if Blade is really going into production, and you have Agatha, and Doctor Strange, we've already met Dormammu. So if there is they have to build up the super, and we saw Werewolf by Night. They've got to lean into the supernatural. And who is the leader of the supernatural in the Marvel universe if not Mephisto? I mean, there's other characters, but at least quote unquote earthbound. I mean, maybe he's the big bad.
and remember, there have been reports that Mephisto is going to be in Ironheart, so they could use something like, an Agatha to introduce him. Because that, to me, if Mephisto is going to be, because I think Sacha Baron Cohen was there saying, I don't know, I can't remember. I get the
it was
something like that.
Yeah, he was
so let's say
reported.
if that's true, Ironheart is a ridiculous property to introduce him.
Yeah, I
in.
agree.
So maybe they introduce him in something like Agatha and bring him over. I mean, look, I've got no actual information that backs that up. I'm just theorizing here. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? We have our 5th, arguably 6th, if you want to take the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe one. Title of Agatha. It's now called Agatha All Along, coming out in September, which I'm personally very excited about. Be honest, where's your excitement level been? I know a lot of people have been very cool on this one, but I don't know why. Whatever you guys think, jump into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right. With that done, guys, let's get on to our next topic here, shall we? Jonathan, what's up next?
Okay, well, the first trailer for the upcoming Dune series on Max, Dune Prophecy, has arrived and is now online. The official description reads like this. 10,000 years before the ascension of Paul Atreides, Dune Prophecy follows 2 Harkonnen sisters as they combat forces that threaten the future of humankind and establish a fabled sect that will become known as the Bene Gesserit. Rob, you've been excited for this show?
Hell yeah. If it doesn't suck.
Do you like what you saw? Don't jump my line, man.
Oh, sorry. No, look, here's my problem.
You start with that.
No.
It's
look.
never good when Rob starts with, here's my problem.
Okay, I think so we know that James Herbert, that's a horror author. Frank Herbert wrote 6 Dune novels. Dune Messiah, Children of Dune, God Emperor of Dune, Heretics of Dune, and Chapter House Dune. Those are the Dune books. But then his son, and Kevin G. Anderson,
There's
wrote
75 others.
100,000 more. Yeah. And this series is based on a Brian Herbert, Kevin G. Anderson book, not officially part of canon of it. I guess it is, but in terms of what Frank Herbert wrote, that kind of troubles me, to be honest, because they're leaning into the Bene Gesserit sisterhood history that Frank Herbert didn't necessarily establish. It's an extrapolation. It's kind of like the Rings of Power of TV. That doesn't mean it can't be good. And I'm hoping it is good because the Bene Gesserit, they're fascinating. And seeing the establishment of the Order and the beginning of how they seed these legends throughout the universe to control people, and the idea of the Kwisatz Haderach and all that, the super being and what they're doing, the bloodlines, could be awesome. It could be, the political intrigue could be great. I'm just dubious as to whether or not it will be. They changed showrunners. My fingers are crossed, John, because if there's something that I really want to be good, it's this.
Listen, I'll tell you what. Understanding that Denis is one of the architects of the show.
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve, who of course did the first 2 Dunes. And understanding that all the changes, and there were some significant changes that Denis made to Dune, and especially Dune 2.
Yeah.
Actually elevated the material, for the screen at least. I'm okay with the notion that, Dune Dune Prophecy isn't going to be directly drawn from, original source material. I'm okay with that. That doesn't mean it's going to be good. That doesn't mean it's going to be bad. I like the trailer, though. I got to say,
I did too.
Yeah?
I did.
That's what I've been wondering most. Like, how did the trailer hit you? Because you and I didn't watch it together, so I've been dying to it. Because I don't know anybody that's been more excited for this show than you.
I think it's I'm very intrigued. I'm very intrigued. the fact, John, the fact that we've got a Foundation TV series, we're getting a Dune TV series. I love that they're leaning into these classic sci-fi book series that I grew up with. I fingers crossed, because this is, I think of all of them, this is going to be really hard to nail. It's going to be hard to nail, but it's intriguing, and I think I want something that's House of the Dragon quality out of this.
Right.
That's what I want.
And I'm hoping we get that. But I'll tell you what, the whole idea about why this sisterhood formed, what was their driving motivation, what got them there. And I'll tell you what, they also teased like some sexiness to it. They teased a lot of intrigue in it, probably a lot of murder in it. I'm expecting a lot of murder. I got to tell you, I have not been as excited for this show as you have been, but this trailer got me interested.
It's handsomely mounted.
Yeah.
I would expect nothing less.
There was a scene of that in the trailer.
There was a scene of that. Oh, and I forgot I wanted to mention this too. That I was going into it wondering, will it visually feel like Dune? And it did to me.
Yeah,
like, it's like, oh, okay. It felt like if you just put on a couple of clips, I would have thought, oh, maybe this is a cut thing from Dune. But it visually, the aesthetic of it feels very consistent with what Denis Villeneuve did.
Plus, it's not just the Bene Gesserit. They have the whole idea of the Landsrat and all the different great houses, and we can lean into that formation. I mean, think about it, John. Human history, we only go back, 3,000-4,000 years? All of humanity that we really have recorded history. This is going back 10,000 from Dune. It's going to be interesting to see how they pull that one off. 10,000 years ago.
And by the way, Mark Strong as like Emperor of the Universe, whatever. That I can't wait for that. That's
Mark
gonna be really
Strong
good.
is the MVP everywhere.
Yeah, and wherever he goes, whatever he does. Guys, question is for you. Did you have a chance to see the new trailer for Dune Prophecy? If so, what did you think about it? I personally really liked it. How did you feel? Whatever you think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, with that down, let's get on to our fifth topic today, shall we? Jonathan, what's up next?
Well, first off, I think Dune is missing Paul Walter Hauser, but but he's probably involved in this deal that we're about to talk about. Remember when Paramount was in exclusive negotiating window with Skydance and Sony?
I remember that.
Yeah, made a public offer to buy Paramount for $26 billion. Well, according to NBC News, they may have changed their minds and may now only want part of Paramount or none of it at all. Rob, how big of a blow would this be to Paramount if Sony were to back out now?
I think it would be, you know what? I don't necessarily think Sherry Redstone wants to sell Paramount. I think she kind of wants to, she seems to be driving a hard bargain. There's been a couple of suitors that are perfect for them. But yeah, Sony doesn't really need Paramount. And I don't know what Apollo, their partners, are looking to do. But maybe it would be a blow. I mean, I think it would definitely bolster Paramount stock for a sale. I don't want to see that lot sold. I don't want to see it parted out. And I think Sherry Redstone wants to make sure that whoever buys it is not just going to Gordon Gekko the thing and break it apart like Blue Star Airlines.
I'll tell you what, if Sony backs out of this deal, it is catastrophic for Paramount. And I'll tell you why, because I think most people all acknowledge right now, Paramount has to sell.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just not on good enough financial footing that they're going to survive if they don't have a sale. So here's why I think Sony backing out would be catastrophic. Not because I think Sony needs to buy them, but they entered into an exclusive, as Jonathan pointed out, they entered into this exclusive 30-day window with Skydance. It kind of looked like everybody was feeling good that they might make a deal, right? And then Skydance put out what they said was their final and best offer, and Paramount and their leadership team were going to go over it and all that kind of stuff. Now, in the midst of that, that's when Sony came along and made a public statement saying, because remember, Paramount was in an exclusive 30-day window to only talk to Skydance. They couldn't talk to Sony. So Sony comes out and makes this big public statement. We're willing to buy Paramount outright for $26 billion. Well, the 30-day exclusive window with Skydance, it's not a coincidence, ended without a deal. And now Paramount's been looking at Sony as this $26 billion thing. So here's why it's catastrophic if Sony backs out now. Because if Sony backs out now, they are in a significantly weaker position to even talk to Skydance than they were before. because Skydance was like, hey, we made you an offer and you said no thanks, which they had the right to do. And you went off because you had a better deal on the table. Well, that deal's gone now. I don't think our final best offer to you before is our offer anymore. I think it's lower than what it was now. You know why? Because now we know you're desperate. Now we know you don't have any other options. Now we know you don't have other suitors coming around knocking on your door to marry your daughter who's getting to the age that she's going to be a spinster if you don't marry her off quick. That's what's going on. It's like if Jonathan and Ray both wanted to buy my Stanley Cup. This is the closest thing to it. It's literally called Stanley Cup.
Yeah, there you go.
This is the closest to a Stanley Cup that a Toronto Maple Leaf fan will ever get to. But if they both wanted it, and Ray's like, oh, I'll give you $10 for it. I'm like, oh, really, $10? And Jonathan, I'll give you 12. And Ray's like, I'll give you 15. I'm like, oh, Jonathan, what about you? What's your next offer? And then Ray says, oh, wait a minute, I'm not interested in the cup anymore. I go, well, Jonathan, your last offer was $12. Nah, not anymore. Now my offer's $5.
Yeah, it was
because you got
superseded.
nobody else offering to buy it, and I know I can get it from you for a steal. If Sony, and by the way, it's not been made official that Sony's backing out. They may just change the deal. Like Jonathan pointed out, they may now they're saying maybe we're only interested in buying parts of Paramount, or they may back out together. But Rob, I'm telling you, if they back out, Paramount's screwed. Like they're screwed. They at least need Sony, even if Sony comes back with a lower offer, they at least need to have two people contending for them to keep a price somewhat reasonable. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think you might be right, but I just don't like the idea of Paramount being sold and then broken up into. I mean, keep the studio. They're talking about selling off the lot, and I guess they wouldn't need it because they have their own lot. Like I don't know what you do. I just losing another studio. We're cutting down the availability of places to go with projects, and I don't know. But I think you're right. I think they're going to have to sell. It's inevitable. I just don't want to see Paramount disappear.
Now, I've seen some people already saying, well, wait a minute. If Sony made the offer, they can't change the offer. Remember, when Sony made the offer public, they specifically said in it, this is a non-binding offer. In law, let me take you to law school here for a second. In law, you need a couple of things for a contract to actually exist. The three key ones, the three key elements that have to be there are offer, acceptance, and consideration. For a contract to be legal, one person needs to make an offer, but the offer is not legally binding until the other person accepts. So there has to be offer, acceptance, and there has to be consideration. Consideration means something that's in exchange for. Normally that's money. So if I say to Ray, hey, Ray, I'll come and wash your car. And Ray says, yes, that's great. Offer, acceptance, but no consideration, so it's not legally binding. Not legally binding. By the way, there's another thing in there called capacity. So Ray can't sell my Stanley Cup to Jonathan because he's not the owner of the cup. He has no capacity to do that. And there's a few other things as well. So there's not a binding contract between Sony and Paramount. Just because Sony came out and said, we'll give you $26 billion, they're not bound by that. So we'll see how this all kind of shakes out. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Paramount might be screwed. Which I hate that because I really like Paramount a lot. But do you think Sony's going to go through with the offer? Do you think they're going to pull out? Do you think they're just going to offer for some of Paramount? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. We're going to talk here a little bit about ranking what we believe are the most likely 25 or more of the most likely cameos we're going to see in Deadpool and Wolverine. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second and thank one of the sponsors of today's episode, our friends at Miracle Made. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Miracle Made. Did you know that your temperature at night can have one of the greatest impacts on your sleep quality? If you wake up too hot or too cold, I highly recommend you check out Miracle Made's bed sheets. Inspired by NASA, Miracle Made uses silver-infused fabrics and makes temperature-regulating bedding so that you can sleep at the perfect temperature all night long. When they arrived at our house, my wife Ann loved to feel them so much, she couldn't even wait for me to get home to put them on our bed. Miracle Made has self-cleaning. These sheets are infused with silver that prevents up to 99.7% of bacterial growth, leaving them to stay cleaner and fresh 3 times longer than other sheets. Miracle Sheets also have incredible comfort and quality. Miracle Sheets are luxuriously comfortable without the high price tag of other luxury brands and feel as nice, if not nicer, than sheets used by some 5-star hotels. So go to TryMiracle, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to try Miracle Made sheets today. And whether you're buying them for yourself or as a gift for a loved one, if you order today, you can save over 40%. And if you use our promo code Campea at checkout, you'll get 3 free towels and save an extra 20%. Miracle is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you aren't 100% satisfied, you will get a full refund. So upgrade your sleep with Miracle Made. Go to TryMiracle.com/Campea and use the code Campea to claim your free 3-piece towel set and save over 40% off. Again, that's TryMiracle.com/Campea to treat yourself. And thank you to our friends at Miracle Made for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, buckle up. Here we go. You know, there's a lot of talk about, ever since Deadpool 3 was announced, about, I'm sure it's going to be a lot of cameos, especially when it became revealed that part of the story was going to involve multiverse. So you know, there are going to be a lot of cameos, been a lot of whispers, a lot of talks. So we thought, well, actually weeks ago we thought to do this, but we're just getting around to doing it today. We thought it would be fun to actually take the 25 or more of the potential cameos we could see in Deadpool Wolverine, and we're going to rank them in a chart. Here's the chart. So we will either say, when we bring up a potential cameo, it's either in the A slot, which is absolutely, we 100% believe that person will be in there. B, which will be, yeah, I think they'll probably be in it. C is a coin toss, 50-50. D is probably not, and E is no chance in hell. So that's what we got. A, B, C, D, and E. That's how we're going to do it. If you guys are ready to go, let's go. Candidate number 1, Ben Affleck's Daredevil. I'll tell you what, listen, Jennifer Garner, we already know she's probably going to be in it. So, and Jennifer Garner, yes, they're exes, her, Ben Affleck, but they co-parent, they get along great, they're very supportive of each other. And so we got Ben Affleck as Daredevil. I'm going to go ahead and say, I believe that is a C. I think we're looking at a 50-50 shot. Rob, what about you?
I think C is good, 50-50.
So you go C on that
I'll
as
go
well?
C with you.
Jonathan?
Yeah, because we're already getting Jennifer Garner. I don't know that they're going to dip too much into all these worlds. I think you're going to get cameos, a little taste. So I'm going to go C.
Ray, what about you?
I'm going to go to the lowest one.
You're going to go E.
Yeah, I'm going to go E.
All right. Well, we got 3 votes in here for C, so we're going to put him, Ben Affleck as Daredevil.
After the Dunkin' Donuts commercial, he's up for anything.
He's up for anything. All right. Let's get on to the next one. The next one we've got is any minute now.
Pal.
And we are having a problem, but I'll just bring it up and say if and when the picture ever comes up, we'll get around to it. Thomas Jane as the Punisher. Thomas Jane as the Punisher. And there he is. Finally got the picture up. I'll tell you what, this one might be a little bit more out there in left field, but we do have Punisher coming, you know, into Daredevil. Thomas Jane is a lot of people's favorite Punisher. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go a C on this. I think it's as high as a C. Rob, what about you?
I'm going to go D on it.
You're going to D, so you think less, why less likely?
Because he's kind of far away. I think, you know what I think? If there's going to be Punisher in this movie, it's Dolph Lundgren.
I thought about putting Dolph on the list, but that one is so obscure that I think if you put him up there, because here's my question though. What purpose is there to a cameo if the audience doesn't even know what you're talking about? You know what I mean?
But
I think there'd be more people who would get the Thomas Jane.
I mean,
one.
since it's not, I don't have to rate Dolph Lundgren.
That's true.
I'm just saying. I think if there is the Punisher, the Dolph Lundgren thing would be so out there. Whereas Thomas Jane's respectable. You know, he's the kind of guy, okay, we can't have our other, you know, War Journal Punisher, unfortunately, we can't have. But I think Thomas Jane's respectable. I think Ryan Reynolds, he's the only guy in the world who would bring Dolph Lundgren back as the Punisher. The only guy.
So you're going to go D on Thomas Jane.
I'm going to go D.
Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going D on him as well, but not for the reasons that Rob is claiming.
Ray, what about you?
I'm gonna go E on that one too.
You're going to go D on that?
Okay.
All right.
E.
Oh, you're going E.
Yeah,
okay,
so
they
far,
said
nothing.
D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know what? I said C, Ray said E, 2 for D, so I think that means we got to put him in D.
All
So
right.
Thomas Jane as Punisher goes into the D list.
All right.
All right. Let's get on to our next one here.
All right.
In third position, Chris Hemsworth is Thor. Now, I bring this up because there's a piece of footage they showed us at CinemaCon that you guys saw part of the same thing at home. In the one trailer, Deadpool's looking at the screens, and one of the Avengers he sees on the screens is Chris Hemsworth. Now, what we saw, the additional extended piece of that scene, has a little bit more going on with him, which makes me wonder. Let's just put it this way. Something he sees on screen involves Thor and him as a possible future. Since they showed it to us, they're probably going to put it into a trailer later. But it makes me wonder if they're actually going to do it. So I'm going to go out and say Chris Hemsworth as Thor. I'm going to go B. I'm going to go as high as B on this one. Rob, what about you?
I'm going to go with you on B because I saw he was being interviewed with Anya Taylor-Joy about Furiosa.
Right.
And somebody mentioned this to him in the interview. And he goes, really? I'm in the movie? And I'm like, you're in the movie. You're totally in the movie, dude. Come on.
So where are you
I'm
going to
go B.
You're going to go B,
Yeah.
Jonathan?
I hate to always just copy Rob, but I'm going to go B.
Ray?
I'm gonna go D on this one. I think that part in the TVA screen. I think that's the only time we're gonna see.
You're going to see that?
All right,
Physically
well,
see him.
we got 3 for B, so we're going to put Chris Hemsworth as Thor in the B spot. All right.
All right.
Let's get on to the next one. So this is one that only makes sense for one reason, and I'll get around to that reason in a second. But we're talking about Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Now, the reason I could see this as a possibility, and the reason I'm going to go high as B on this, is because there is a multiversal aspect to this movie. And Doctor Strange is as tied up in the multiversal stuff as anybody else. So for that reason, I'm not going to say A, but I'll go as high as B. Rob?
I'm going to go A.
Oh, you're going to go A.
I'm going to go A, and I'm
So
going
you're
to
going to go absolutely he's gonna
I
be in it.
wouldn't be surprised if we see both Doctor Strange and Charlize Theron in the movie together doing something.
All right. Ray, what about you?
I'm gonna go C.
You're going to go C.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
go C.
Jonathan, what about you?
Yeah, I'm going B because I think this has to do with incursions.
All right, so we had 1A, 1C, and 2 Bs. So we'll slap Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange in the B position. Okay, next up, we've got, who's our 5th candidate here?
Oh,
The
yes.
mouthless Deadpool,
The best Deadpool there is.
played by Ryan Reynolds, mouthless Deadpool from X-Men Origins Wolverine. Ryan Reynolds seems to get a lot of joy out of mocking his own work, including Green Lantern. And didn't he have the action figure of the mouthless one too in the first Deadpool or something like that? So because of that, I'm going to go, I won't go to the A rank personally, but I'm going to go as high as B. Rob, what about you?
Oh, I think A. I think definitely, I think for a minute, Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool is going to turn into Ryan Reynolds' mouthless Deadpool.
All right, Jonathan?
I think A, he's going to be mentioned, but B, appearance. So B.
So you're going to go B, Ray?
I'm going A.
You're going A. All right, so we got 2 A's and 2 B's. All right, I'll
You could keep it at B, I guess. B, yeah.
oh yeah, okay, so we're going to go lower on ties. We'll go the one lower on ties. So we're going to put mouthless Deadpool from X-Men Origins Wolverine. We're going to put down into the B slot. Okay. That brings us up to the next one. And the next candidate up is Patrick Stewart as Professor Charles Xavier. We're getting some of the bigger, more obvious ones out of the way here first. Look, I'm going to go A on this because I think a while ago, Patrick Stewart pretty much confirmed that he was going to be doing. I remember in early 2023, Patrick Stewart said, yes, Marvel has told me to be prepared to go do something. So I just don't see how it's not going to happen. Plus, it's hard for me to imagine Hugh Jackman doing something without Patrick Stewart at this time. Those two have such a great bond. So I'm going to go A for Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier. Rob?
I'm going to go A, but let me ask you this.
All right.
Floating chair or no floating chair?
Floating chair.
All right.
I think it'll be floating chair Charles Xavier.
As it's been established already in the MCU.
I think so too. I think so too.
Jonathan?
A.
A. All right, Ray?
A.
All right, our first A from Ray as well.
Across
so we
the
are
board.
slapping Professor Charles Xavier in the first A spot. Okay.
A.
A. Okay, so that
Hey.
obviously means that the next logical one that we have to talk about is, if I can get my screen right here, is Ian McKellen as Magneto. Now, when Patrick Stewart was talking about this, he kind of implied that Ian McKellen would be doing it too. Now, we didn't get, it's not like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are a package deal, right? We got Patrick Stewart in Multiverse of Madness, but we didn't get Ian McKellen. I think he will be in it, but I'm not willing to go as high as A. So I'll say Ian McKellen as Magneto. I believe he'll be in it, so I'm going to go as high as a B. Rob?
I'm going to go A with it because I think Ryan Reynolds would want him there.
That's a
You
good
know,
point,
I think
yeah.
I think a lot of this is defined by Ryan Reynolds' sense of humor, and he's really knowing what the audience wants. And I think he wants to act opposite Ian McKellen.
Ray, what about you?
I'm gonna go B.
You're going to go B on that,
Yeah.
Jonathan?
I'm going to go A. I think if you're getting Patrick Stewart, you're getting Ian McKellen.
All right, so 2 A's and 2 B's?
Yeah.
All right, so we
And
go.
I think it's going to be funny too.
All right, so we round down to the B then. 2 A's and 2 B's, we round down to B. And again, I that means I think he's going to be in it. I'm just not willing to put the 100% on it.
Right.
Okay, staying in that universe then, here's another interesting name that could be in there. Oh, that's the wrong one. Daphne Keane as X-23. Of course, she burst onto the scene, became a favorite for a lot of people in Logan. There's been a lot of debate about whether this is the Logan from Logan. I think it is. I honestly think it is. But John, I get the arguments, but I think it is. It might not be, might be another one. I'm going to do this. I'm going to say A. I think 100% Daphne Keane pops up in this. So I'm going to be putting her up in the A position. Rob, what about you?
I'm going to go B on that.
You say B on
I
it?
think B,
So you
yeah.
think she will, but you're not willing to say 100%.
Yeah, I think she will too.
Okay, Jonathan?
I'm going to go B as well, only because I'm not quite sure how you work that in, unless he's just on the search for a Wolverine and ends up there, and you know what I mean? But yeah.
Yeah, and somebody has to explain to Wolverine what happened to him,
Yeah.
like maybe she does.
All right, Ray?
I'm gonna go C.
So you're going to say, so we have an A, a C, and 2 Bs. That means Daphne Keane is X-23 goes also into the getting crowded B listings.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we move on to our 9th candidate here. And our 9th candidate, Wesley Snipes' Blade. I already told you before he's going to be in this. So I'm just going to go A on it. Rob,
I'm A on this too.
you're A on it as well.
Yay.
Ray,
E.
what?
Because you know who he wants in there.
You know who he wants in
E
there.
for denial.
E
the
for
real-
denial.
It's A. If you guys say A, I'd say A.
Yeah, it's an A. Okay, so we got Wesley. So right now in the A slot, we only have Patrick Stewart as Professor X and Wesley Snipes as Blade. Okay, moving on to our 10th candidate now. Staying in the vampire realm, Mahershala Ali as Blade.
Oh,
now
man.
listen, one of the reasons Kevin Feige may want to do this is because he knows, even when they started production on Deadpool, we are so far behind on getting Mahershala Ali as Blade on screen. Let's get him in Deadpool, even if it's just for a shot. So I'm not going to go A on it, but I think he really does want him in there. So I'm going to say B. Rob, what about you?
I'm gonna go C. I think it'd be cool, especially if you could have battling blades, like two blades fighting.
Oh,
But we'll see. I think C.
We'll see.
We'll see. Jonathan,
I'm gonna go D.
you're gonna go D on that one. So really lower on that. And Ray
my heart says A, but my mind says E, baby. He's
Says
not gonna be
E.
He's not gonna be in there.
all right, then I think. And Jonathan, you said D, right?
D, yeah.
So we got a D and an E. I think he ends up being in the Mahershala Ali ends up in the D position.
Can I actually say something? Wasn't it the coolest when Wesley Snipes showed up as Blade for the first time in the Blade movie when and,
With the blood rave?
yeah, invades that blood raid or
The
like
greatest thing ever.
Yeah, it's the blood
I
rave.
want that moment with Mahershala. I can't have that moment cheated in a cameo in Deadpool.
I agree.
That's
with
it.
that.
That's it. That's all. Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to our 11th candidate now. Chris Evans as Captain America.
Well, I mean,
Now, we already know he's also another one of the heroes that pops up on the screen. And we also know that Chris Evans has already cameoed in another Ryan Reynolds film because he popped up in Free Guy. An amazing cameo, by the way. And yet, I'm going to say D. I'm going to say D on this. I just think there's a lot of other Avengers already popping up. And I'm going to go, so not impossible, but I'm going to say D. Rob, what about you?
I'm going to say D too, because I think Chris Evans is going to be in the movie, but not as Captain America.
All right, Jonathan?
I'm actually going B on this one.
You're going to go as high as B.
Yeah.
Okay, Ray?
I go C. I'm gonna say a lot of C's because I just can't choose, But C, yeah. I'll go
All right,
C.
I think we'll average this one out into the C position then. So we'll say Chris Evans as Captain America. We got him locked in there in the C position. All right, let's move on now to our 12th candidate. Sticking in Chris Evans' world. Chris Evans as the Human Torch.
Oh, man.
Johnny Storm from Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't think this before, but I've had a couple of our viewers write into me making an argument for it, and damn, they were persuasive arguments. So while I am not going to say A on this, I will think it's a higher chance than him as Captain America. I will go to C on this of Chris Evans. So I think it's a coin toss. He's in there. Rob, what do you think?
I'm going A.
You're going A.
I'll tell you why.
You're like guaranteed.
I'm
he's gonna be in
guaranteeing he's
there.
going to be, because it's too good of a joke to comment on the multiverse and what it all means and how the different of characters between companies and all that, and Fox owned by Disney. And I think it's 100% he's going to be Johnny Storm in this movie.
Ray,
I'm gonna go B.
you're gonna go
I feel
B
the
on
same
this?
way as you, but different letters.
All right, Jonathan.
I'm actually going A on this one as well. I think with the Fantastic Four coming up, it just puts them back in the limelight of conversation a little bit more again. And I think we need to see more of the collapse of 20th Century Fox. If that monument's there,
Yeah.
it's not just about the X-Men.
Totally.
All right, so we got a C, a B, and two A's. So we'll average this one out to the B. So Chris Evans, much higher chance, we're saying, as Johnny Storm than as Captain America. Okay, we move now down to our 13th candidate. Candidate number 13, Halle Berry as Storm. I gotta go away on this. I mean, remember when that story came out, right as they started filming Deadpool, there in the first couple of weeks of Deadpool shooting, Halle Berry suddenly was spotted with her to the letter Storm haircut back again. And there was even some comments she made that kind of implied it. So I just don't see any other way other than an A on this. I 100%, I'll be surprised if she's not in it. So I'm going to go A. Rob, what about you?
Me too.
You're going to go A on it?
Yeah, when it comes to Fox X-Men characters, if they're principal characters, I would imagine we're going to see them again.
Jonathan?
Yeah, A for me.
A for you. Ray?
A, because mainly I would love to see her in every movie, actually.
Yeah, me too.
I'd love to see her in every
Just like
movie.
she was in Swordfish.
All right.
Oh,
so
God.
she was great in Swordfish.
She certainly was
that
great.
scene notwithstanding, she was great in Swordfish.
Oh, with Wolverine too. Well, Hugh Jackman.
yeah,
was in
Hugh
that
Jackman
movie.
was in that
Yeah,
as well.
of course. There you go. Come on.
All right, we move on to our 14th candidate. Owen Wilson is Mobius.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Really?
Hey, listen. It's the TVA.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson's Mobius, I think, ended up being an even more popular character than I think maybe even Marvel suspected he might. I think they want to continue to use him in the MCU. I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying, I'm guessing. So while there is seemingly no connection between Deadpool or Wolverine and Mobius, I'm going to go as high as a C on this. Rob, what about you?
Oh, I will go even higher. I'll go to B only because I do think that Matthew McFadden that we've seen in the trailers, I think that TVA is the TVA of a different universe. I think that's the Fox universe TVA that we never saw before.
Yeah.
And that Owen Wilson is our TVA, and I think something in the movie is the TVAs are going to be at odds.
Well, incursions again.
Yeah,
brings you back to Doctor Strange.
But it's incursions like our multiverse and their multiverse are like different I don't know this for a fact, but I'm just assuming.
See, I always thought the TVA existed outside of
too.
all that. Like all the
I don't
branches
know.
they sit outside of time.
I
and
think we're going to
space.
find that's not necessarily true.
Time sits within each universe, but although I do agree, then why is there all those different like Infinity Stones, so Infinity Gems, you know?
Okay, so you're going B. Jonathan,
Yes.
what about you?
I was A, but you guys got me in doubt, so I'll go B.
Okay, you're going to go B, Ray?
I'm B.
You're
at
B?
too.
All right, then Owen Wilson as Mobius is the newest tenant in the B level category. All right, we move on to our 15th candidate here. And our 15th candidate is Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark. I'll tell you what, I don't think it's a coincidence that Robert Downey Jr.'s tone in interviews went from back on the Howard Stern show a year or two ago, for as it was a chapter of my life and blah blah blah, to in his most recent interview not long ago. You remember we talked about it on the show. He's like, I'd come back to the MCU in a second. It's a part of my DNA now. Playing Tony Stark is part of who I am. I would jump at the chance to come back. I don't think it's a coincidence that Deadpool is shooting while he's saying that. So I am going to go, I think it's just a quick cameo, but I'm going to go to a C on this for him in there. Rob, what about you?
I'll go C.
So you think it's a coin toss too?
I think it's a coin toss too. But I'm curious as to whether or not they'll do something interesting with Robert Downey Jr. that we might not expect.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah,
he is an Oscar winner now, by the way.
Something different.
Okay, Jonathan.
Dr. Doolittle?
Oh my God! If he came up as Doolittle,
That would be.
Ryan Reynolds would pitch that idea to him.
I know that.
Ryan Reynolds would pitch that to him.
Or it's what if we see Ryan Reynolds starring in Green Lantern and Dr. Doolittle, where we meet Ryan Reynolds, the actor, and Robert Downey Jr., the actor, commiserating over their failed properties.
That'd be hilarious. Anyway, so what did you say? C? You said C, Rob?
Oh yeah.
Okay,
See,
Jonathan?
I actually think because we're going to be getting our top tier Fox. I think we're going to be getting our top tier MCU as well. So I'm going to go A.
You're going to go A on this. Okay, Ray?
E. I'm going to go completely opposite. Downey Jr. is Iron Man, no.
Well, that just brought him to the crowd.
So we had 1A, 1E, and 2C. So that just logically plops him right down there in the middle in C.
All right.
Okay. We now go on to our 16th candidate now? Yes. We're getting past we're well past the halfway point now. Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda Maximoff, a.k.a. WandaVision. Scarlet Witch.
You can start with me again.
I'm going to go, this will be the first one I put in here. I'm going to go straight up E.
Yep.
On this. I don't think she's going to be back in the MCU at all. I don't even think she'll be back for Secret Wars or anything like that. I mean, ask me that again in a year or two, but I don't see her coming back from this. I don't see it. While there is a multiversal connection for sure, I don't think she's going to be in there. She's my first nominee for the E list on this. Rob, what about you?
I'm going to go A.
You're going to go A?
And I'll tell you why.
You're saying like 100% Wanda's going to be in this movie.
I'll tell you why. Because go with me on this. What is the point of this movie? Other than Deadpool and Wolverine and being a romp and being fun. and maybe bringing Deadpool into the MCU. What is the ultimate point? This movie has to have a purpose beyond just being the wacky, fun thing.
But we already have our villain.
I'm not saying about villain.
Okay.
I think this entire film is going to end with the establishment of the X-Men in the MCU in whatever form that takes. That the end of this movie, when Deadpool winds up in the MCU, if he does, that we are going to know what the situation is about the X-Men in the MCU, the MCU's X-Men. Whether it's in a post-credit scene, it's going to tell us something definitive about the X-Men in the MCU. And that's why I think we have to have heavy hitter mutants involved somehow.
All right.
Whatever
Jonathan?
that means. I don't know what that means.
Jonathan, Rob's on the A. I'm on E. Where are you on this?
Well, look, I know that Scarlet Witch, she's a real mother effing G, but I'm going with the easy E.
Easy. That was good.
That was good.
That was
good.
good. Okay, Ray, what about you?
I gotta go with an E. It breaks my heart. I love her as Scarlet Witch. I want to see her again, but no.
Okay, so we've got 3 E's and an A. I think the A pulls her up out of the E slot and puts her in the D slot.
I think so.
On there. Okay, so we still don't have any inhabitants in the E category. What's going on here, guys? All right. We move on now to our 17th contestant here for a possibility of being a cameo in Deadpool and Wolverine. Channing Tatum as Gambit.
Come on now.
All right.
Oh man.
This dude's going in A.
100%.
He's going in A. Look at how, first of all, just go back to that Comic-Con panel years ago when they first announced that he was going to be Gambit. And there's all those photos of him and Ryan Reynolds backstage hugging and all that kind of stuff. And then you got Free Guy. How good was Channing Tatum in Free Guy? So you got Ryan Reynolds and Channing Tatum clearly love working together. Just last year, Channing Tatum was talking more about, how much he really wishes the Gambit thing worked out. I'm telling you, Ryan Reynolds is putting him in this movie. I'm putting him as Gambit in the A slot.
In the classic outfit.
In the classic outfit. Yeah.
In the 100%, dude.
You're on A as well?
100%.
Ray, what about you?
100%.
You're A on it? All right. Is this our next unanimous A, Jonathan?
A.
And a unanimous A on that? Honestly, I thought you guys would fight me on this.
No.
I really did. Okay, so we've got...
We're saving it up for other fights.
Yeah.
Beyond this segment.
Yeah, beyond other fights beyond this segment.
Let it build up inside, baby.
That was our number 17. Let's go down to our number 18 here, shall we? Things are getting more interesting. Famke Janssen as Jean Grey. I think the biggest argument for this is that we're seeing a lot of the original OG ones. She, of course, popped up at the end of X-Men Days of Future Past. I'm not willing to put her in the A slot, though. Because I think I remember her talking on the red carpet of Days of Future Past saying it was nice to be able to come in and close the book. And that, obviously that's because they didn't think about Deadpool and Wolverine, but I think she'll be in there, but I'm not willing to go A, so I'm going to propose her for B. Rob, what about you?
I got to go A. I got to go A because I want to see her go up against Wanda.
Okay. Jonathan?
I'm going to go C. 50,
You're going to go down
on
to
me.
C.
Yeah, 50-50. I'm not.
All right, Ray?
I'm gonna go C as well.
All right, so we have an A, a B, and 2 C's, so we'll drop her in the C division on this. Okay. Let's move on here. That was number 18. As we now look over to number 19. And our 19th candidate, James Marsden as Cyclops. If you're going to bring up, Phoenix, you got to bring up Cyclops. So I love James Marsden in this role. I always thought he was the one thing that in all of the original X-Men movies that they constantly got wrong was how they handled Cyclops. And I think there will be a joke about him being horribly misused in the other X-Men. And even though I said a B for Jean, I'm going to go an A on this.
Me too.
I think it's there. Rob, you're going to go for an A on this? Why is that?
Because he's the leader of the X-Men. And if you start throwing in the X-Men, you got to have Cyclops. And by the way, I hope he's in the full-on Jim Lee garb. I'm hoping X-Men 97, full-on Cyclops wearing those yellow bandoliers.
Brother, you don't think he'll be Cyclops in the X-Men moving forward, right? You're just saying for this particular movie. Yeah, just for this.
Just like Wolverine's in the classic, he's going to go full Jim Lee Cyclops.
Okay. What about you, Jonathan?
I think they're a pair, Gene and him, so I'm going C. If it's going to happen, they're both going to happen.
Okay, you're going to go down to C. Ray?
I'm gonna go C as well. I feel exactly the way John.
All right, so we got 2 A's and 2 C's. That firmly plants them, again, in that getting really crowded B category. All right, we move on now to number 20. In our 20th spot, Taylor Swift as Dazzler. This is one that, obviously, look, when at the NFL game, when you had Levy, you had Ryan Reynolds, you had Hugh Jackman all in her private box there at the football game. A lot of talk and conversations about that. I'm not so sure about the Dazzler aspect, but I personally have no doubt that she will be in the movie. I have no doubt about that. So I got to put Taylor Swift in the A category. Rob, what about you?
I'm gonna put her in the A category too, because even if she doesn't play Dazzler, she could just be playing herself in some. I mean, she exists in the universe, so why not? The real question is, here's this, John. If we believe that she's in it, will there be an original Taylor Swift musical composition in the film?
100% there would be.
100%.
I completely agree with
100%.
that. All right, Ray, what about you?
In order to hit the billion, you gotta add Taylor. So
I'm
I
not
gotta
sure
give it
that's
a B.
true, but
B for a billion, baby.
You're going to go B for a billion. Jonathan.
I was leaning B, but I think I'm going to actually go A.
Yeah, I just don't think there's much question about it that she's going to be. Of course, we don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to be shocked if she's not in it. So remember, we're not talking about whether we thought or not we think she should be in it. We're talking about whether we think she will. And I think she
How do you,
will.
if you're friends with her, how do you pass that up now? I mean, it's all Taylor Swift's universe. We're just living in it. Why not put her in it?
All right.
Travis Kelce is Sabretooth.
No, Colossus.
Well, we have Colossus.
No, he's the new one.
No.
All right. Let's go on to our next candidate
No.
here. Josh Brolin as Thanos.
A.
Now,
100%.
you already jumped the
You
gun.
already jumped. You
Jumping
didn't even
the
let
gun.
John answer.
Jump at the gun on that. Listen, I'm going to shock the world. I'm going to go E.
No.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. They are Thanos'd out. They've made the Thanos jokes in another Deadpool movie already. And you know, Josh Brolin has already kind of said, this isn't the biggest factor, but Josh Brolin has already directly said, I'm not in this movie. Now, he might be lying. So I'm not saying that's the main thing, but I honestly think they're now trying to move on from Thanos. And if you're not going to move on from Thanos, I don't think Deadpool and Wolverine is the one you bring him in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go straight up E
Same.
on Josh Brolin as Thanos. Rob, you're going to go the opposite.
I'm going to go the opposite.
You're going to say A.
And they're going to do maybe some cable Thanos joke.
All right. Jonathan,
D.
you're going to go D. Ray?
E. I'm with you.
All right. So we got 2 E's, a D, and an A. We'll average this one down to a D. So we're going to put him down here in the D spot.
I mean, I want to hear the your chin looks like my face joke.
But he's already in another Deadpool movie.
already
He's
kinda
made
done
Thanos'
that.
I
face
guess so.
chin jokes.
He's
You
like
know?
the biggest villain, and then you're gonna undermine this villain that we have in this movie.
Not
All
to
right.
mention, we've already heard Star-Lord talk about his chin.
Yeah, they've already made all the jokes. You know what I mean?
We don't need no prunes.
All right. Let's get on to number 22. All right. This one I think has a better chance. Josh Brolin is Jonah Hex. I actually think
He's a DC character.
No.
I actually think,
No.
regardless of where it comes from,
You have lost your mind.
with the relationship between Kevin Feige and James Gunn, and a complete character that James Gunn has no plans on ever using again.
You have lost your damn
Well,
mind.
I said E for Thanos. I gotta say a D for one of the worst comic book movies ever made, which Ryan Reynolds loves that. Like being a part of one of the worst comic book movies ever made. He jokes about himself all the time. And he kind of looks like Deadpool a little bit with his face. I'm gonna say Josh Brolin as Jonah Hex in the D position.
We just lost all the viewers right now.
D. Rob, what do you think?
I gotta go E on that.
You're gonna go E, Jonathan.
I don't know what the D position is, but I'm gonna go E.
You're gonna go E, Ray.
I'd rather be E than get the D.
All right, then Jonah Hex gets Josh Brolin's Jonah Hex is the first person.
Congratulations.
Hey, well done, getting into the E spot. First one ending up into the E position.
Starting on the ground floor, baby.
Nowhere to go but up. All right,
Although you have brought up an interesting question.
Oh, here we go.
what's
Oh,
that?
here we go.
About
Will
the
there be
cross-pollination?
any DC characters in this movie? Will there be any potential crossover? You just acknowledged the James Gunn connection.
Yeah, but
Any
the
DC characters?
The only reason I thought Jonah Hex would even be a 5% possibility is because it's a character I don't think James Gunn would ever want to touch.
Right.
So it'd have to be a character like that. So,
I don't think so, Rob.
and it's Josh Brolin.
But it'd be interesting.
Because they're gonna open-
I have this. I want to see a DC character show up in this movie because it would be amazing.
No. 'cause
All
they'll
right,
open up
we
a
need to
can of
move on
worms.
here.
Yeah.
We need to move on. We get on to number 23. In the number 23 spot,
My boy.
Nicolas Cage is Ghost Rider. I'll tell you what. When I first thought of this, I guffawed at it. But again, Ryan has got a big soft spot for terrible comic book movies. Nicolas Cage is all the rage right now. Again, they just announced, for those of you who missed it, they just announced yesterday Nicolas Cage is going to be starring in Spider-Man Noir, a live-action Spider-Man Noir, a live-action version of his character from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, is going to get its own live-action show. Likely, no. But I'll say coin toss. I'll go a C on Nick Cage's Ghost Rider. Rob, what about you?
I'm gonna go B.
He was Fox, right? That was Fox.
No,
No, or was
I
it
know, I
Sony?
believe it was.
was it? Okay,
I think it was Fox.
I thought it was Lionsgate.
Let me look that up.
I don't.
Either way, it's a Marvel character. So, I mean, I'm going to put him in the C spot. You're going to go higher than me. You're going to say B.
I'm gonna go B.
I thought you might actually go lower. All right, Jonathan, what about you?
Go to Ray. Oh, it's Sony.
Oh, it was
Sony.
Sony that put it out.
So no, I'm going D. I'm going E.
Well,
I'm going E too.
Marvel has the rights to the character back, so it's
Yeah.
a Marvel character.
I know, but my thing is like the fall of Fox, so it doesn't fall into that. So.
Okay, to follow up with Sony, we know they did reshoots for this movie recently in the last couple weeks.
Yes.
Is Madam Web in this movie?
No.
Yes, I hope so.
Come on.
Sony would never allow it.
Are you lying, Jonathan?
They're
Sony would
they're
never
gonna
allow
open up with table dancing.
No, Sony would never allow it.
How funny would
And
that be?
let's
if they
let's
did?
save other candidates for later, though, when we get to the end of the list. Jonathan, what were you saying?
Oh, I'm gonna go E.
You're going to go E on it.
Same. E.
You're going to go E. Okay, so we got a B, a C, and two E's, so we'll put it in the D spot down there. Okay, just a couple more left on my list. So that was Ghost Rider. We go now to the number 24 person, Tom Hiddleston as Loki. And I'll tell you the main argument for this one. There's a big multiversal thing going on. At the end of Loki season 2, who's the one sitting on the throne, kind of holding all the realities together? It's Tom Hiddleston. I could totally see near the end of Act 3 of this movie, them like coming before the wonderful Wizard of Oz at the end, and it being Loki. I'm not going to say A, but I'm going to go as high as B on this one. Rob, what about you?
I think I'm gonna go A.
Oh,
I think
you're
he
giving
has
A.
to be, doesn't he?
I don't think he has to be. He hasn't been in any other multiversal thing, but
And if this is a different TVA, again to your argument,
Well, they're gonna both. Yeah, I think he's A. I'm gonna go A on him.
okay.
I think I went B on Mobius, so I'm gonna go B on him.
Okay, Ray?
I'm gonna go C. I just don't know.
Okay, we have an A, a C, and two Bs. So that means we slap him right there in the middle in B. Okay, just two left on my list. Then we'll entertain some other notions here. We're looking at number 25 right now. And at number 25, I put forward to you Tom Hardy as Venom. Now, listen, they've already created a connection to the MCU, a very badly done, badly executed, oh, this one little thing of him left behind, and he was talking to a bartender. So it was a pathetic connection, but nonetheless, a connection that is there. This isn't remember, this is a Deadpool movie. This shouldn't be taken too seriously. It's like, well, I mean, if they have Tom Hardy's Venom in it, that means it's going to have to use him. No, it doesn't. So I like it. I'm going to go C. Coin toss. Doing his own movies already with another studio, but I will still go as high as C. What do you think, Rob?
I am going to go C with you on this one. I think it's a coin toss. Although there was a Venom movie in production while this movie was in production, so they could, easily figure out a way to
hop on a plane, go over somewhere, shoot for a day, and come back. Ray, what about you?
I'm going to go E.
You're going to go all the way down to E? Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm joining Ray. E.
All right, I think, well, then if I said C, you said C? Rob said C?
I said C.
Okay, so we got 2 C's, 2 E's, so that puts him in the D category. All right.
Poor Jonah Hex.
Poor Jonah Hex right now. All right, that leads us to the granddaddy of them all.
Oh, yes.
The last person I'm bringing up here, I think we all acknowledge this is probably going to be across the board A's.
Yeah.
But Jared Leto is Morbius.
Oh, I thought you meant you were going to go somewhere else.
Well, tell me who you think in a minute. Jared Leto as Morbius. They already did the little crossover with him at the end of the Morbius movie. Obviously, this is a all-time classic film. If I had S level, this would be S level. No, in all seriousness, they did do the crossover. I've seen a lot of people bring up the idea of Morbius being in this. And honestly, I think there's some good reasons for it. Here's why this is why I'm going to say E. And this is the only reason. Again, because this movie was such a failure, I don't think Sony would ever allow it. If it wasn't for that, I actually think, because again, Ryan Reynolds loves making jokes about his own terrible movies and stuff like that. But because I don't think Sony would allow it, I will go E on it. Anyway, Rob, what about you?
Okay. If Blade is in this movie,
oh my goodness.
Morbius is in this movie and Blade's going to kill him.
Well, don't we have Blade in the
But
A
Blade doesn't
position?
kill Morbius
Yes.
in the movie.
Yeah, we've got.
I know, but it's this kind of movie. It's a multiverse.
Symbolism, like
Blade is going to kill Morbius in this movie.
But does Jared Leto's agent allow him to be in a film where he's like,
And would Sony want the character
We're
to
gonna
be in
kill
the
him
film
'cause
where that's
it's
But it's a different variant. Who cares?
I don't think you get the. I don't think you get.
How much
Yeah.
fun would that scene
But I'm asking, you're a
be?
Sony exec. You think they actually allow that to
No.
happen?
Or his agent.
Look,
Not should they let it happen. Would they let it happen?
I think at this point, they might not let it happen.
Stavros in the live chat is saying, now I want it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, this is the thing. I'm saying that in this particular movie, anything goes, and that's too great of a moment not to do it. If Blade's in the movie,
Nah, man.
Blade to kill Morbius.
You can't overcome the business of Hollywood. No
All right,
way.
But
Ray?
this movie is doing just that.
But so
go
give me
E.
a letter. Give me a letter.
I'm gonna go A.
You're saying
God.
like
Going all in.
You're all in on
I love my idea about Blade killing Morbius.
Morbius is in it.
I have to stand by it.
Okay.
Who wouldn't do that?
Me.
Okay.
Go ahead. His agent.
Jonathan?
Real quick, what was the crossover? Because was there actually a crossover to the MCU?
Yeah, Michael
because,
Keaton
Oh yeah.
So how did
Vulture.
that happen?
as Vulture.
How did that work?
I can't remember much about the movie. I saw it 3 times and I can't remember.
Did they just have him there, or because if they had like an
By the way, whatever happened to our Morbius minute? That's
we can
another
still pick it
conversation
up.
for another time.
Still do
because
it.
it kind of weighs on my decision here, but you know what? That barring that, since someone can remember the film, I'm gonna go E.
Because remember, he flies to meet him in the middle of the desert. He says, "We need to talk," or "We should
Yeah.
talk," and stuff like that.
But he's in the Sonyverse, so I don't get it. E. They don't even know what they're doing.
All right, Ray.
I said E.
All right, we got 3 E's and an A, but I think the E's are going to win it out here. And our second roommate, Josh Brolin, is Jonah Hex.
What a
That's
great
a roommate
couple.
down there. All right, so now those are the 26 that I had.
I only have one.
All right, now I want to ask you guys, what are some other ones that maybe we should put in there? Ray.
100% Wong.
Oh my God.
I think we
Yeah.
can all agree that portal could have been open.
That that portal could have been okay. There's 3 possibilities about the portal. First possibility, Doctor Strange. Second possibility, Ned. Third possibility, Wong. But Kevin Feige recently said it's basically the Wong
if I
cinematic
put
universe
all my
now.
money in something, it's got to be Wong's appearance in this. That's the only one I'm confident.
You know what?
I'm confident in putting money on.
You sold me. I'm there with you. Wong is an A, I think. Rob?
That's my only one.
I think Wong's an A too.
All right, Jonathan?
I think someone opens that portal, and I don't think that portal's being opened by Doctor Strange. I think that's so A.
Okay, so Wong becomes a unanimous entrant into the A level on there. All right, Jonathan, you got anybody that we haven't mentioned yet that maybe we should bring up?
Not really. I mean,
Who would you like to see if you made the movie? Just name one character, even if we haven't seen him on screen.
we didn't talk about.
I'm just kidding.
We didn't talk about any, and there has to be time jumps because we see Patch if that is Patch.
Well, we know they go to Sokovia.
Yeah.
From
I mean, we didn't talk about any of the younger X-Men versions.
Well, okay, let me throw this one out here. Here's a whisper that's been going around. Patch? It's Henry Cavill.
So it's not even
There's whispers going around that there are going to be Wolverine variants, and that the reason they only showed us the back of Patch Wolverine in that one trailer was because it's not Hugh Jackman.
Right.
And there are whispers going around that Patch is going to be Henry Cavill.
Oh
There's
my God.
also a whisper going around that it's Daniel Radcliffe. Now, Daniel Radcliffe has pretty actively shot those down.
Yeah.
But let's throw it out there. I'll propose it. I'll
so
make
Patch
it official here.
as an alternate.
I will come to the floor and say Henry Cavill as a Wolverine variant. I'm going to go C.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, same thing.
C's good.
See,
But my heart wants to see that.
Yeah, me too. Obviously, I'm a big Henry. So Henry Cavill as Wolverine variant. Okay, so we got them in C. Rob, you got any names you want to throw out there?
He's probably got like thousands.
Yes.
Okay.
Sue, Reed, Ben, and Johnny, the Fantastic Four,
And
the
this-
new Fantastic
the new
Four,
Fantastic
the
Four.
Marvel
because-
Fantastic Four are in this movie
The
somewhere.
reshoot.
Okay. So the new Fantastic
Our
Four.
new Fantastic Four are going to be introduced somewhere in this movie.
All right. We'll
Bold.
start with you. Where do you put that?
B.
Gonna go B on that?
You bring that up, and you don't even give it an A.
Well,
Well, no,
because,
you can bring up one up that you
because
don't
I
necessarily
can
think it's
see,
gonna be
you know,
an A.
and I think that it's a way because they always establish new characters. I mean,
Yeah.
the way they,
Yes.
and I think the Fantastic Four would be interesting to be in because this movie can't just we're making it sound like it's a wackadoo comic romp, and I think there's got to be some grounding
And the
into the
Fantastic
MCU.
Four came from somewhere, and it doesn't make sense that we haven't talked about them yet.
Yes, and I think
I'm actually
So you're
gonna go.
B, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go A.
You're gonna go A.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the official handover of that property. It's B. Like on screen handover.
So two B's,
All right.
one A.
I do not think they're gonna be there at all.
So
but,
E?
so I'm gonna go D. But it looks like B's have it. So
Can I-
new Fantastic Four.
You know, I
Okay.
haven't been hyped for Fantastic Four at all. If they show a glimpse of this new family in this movie, you know I'll be counting the days of Fantastic Four.
if it's got to be good though.
Yeah.
Roland's asking no Elektra, but we know Elektra's in it. That was announced. So
All right. Yeah, we didn't put Elektra on the list because that's the one that's been officially announced.
Yeah.
That's not even a question. So Elektra, played by Jennifer Garner. All right, I'm gonna throw one out. I got another one for you.
all right.
Edward Norton as Hulk.
Oh, for sure,
That's what he sounds like too.
for sure.
Oh,
You know what? I'm gonna go A.
you're gonna go A.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh man.
Ray.
I gotta go D just because I don't know if he'll actually do it.
Okay.
That's Universal though, right?
Yeah.
That was released by Universal.
But it was still a Marvel thing, and
I'm gonna go D.
okay, you're gonna go D.
Too
I'm
muddled.
I'm gonna say C, and the reason I'll go as high as C because look, obviously there was a lot of animosity and bad
Yes.
blood, so much that Edward Norton didn't even do the press tour
Yeah.
for Hulk. He would not promote the film, all that kind of stuff. But that was years ago.
Yeah.
And what better way to make a public statement of, hey, we've patched things up, than to come in and do a little cameo? So I'm going to say C. I'm going to say C because I think first inclinations would be like an E, but I'm going to go as high as C on that. So I'm going to plot because you said A.
I said A.
Jonathan, what did you say?
D.
You said D.
But I think A
Ray?
is foolhardy.
D.
Can I change it to B?
And I'm going to say C. So I think with a couple of D's, an A, and a C, I think we'll put him in there
C.
as Edward Norton.
Someone said Eric Bana.
Hulk. Well, that was the next thing I was going to bring up. What about the Eric Bana Hulk? More importantly, what about Nick Nolte as Phantom? You know, the Phantom Hulk.
I think that we haven't strayed enough. Like, I've got one. Well, I already said mine.
We'll give it a grade.
I got another one.
Well, no, give me another one. What's another one?
David Hasselhoff
As Nick Fury. That was one that crossed my mind too.
No.
That's awesome.
No.
Come on.
Now wait a minute. Here's a good argument
That
for it.
might have been Fox,
Here's an argument for it.
too.
Remember that Guardians of the Galaxy special they did?
Oh yeah,
David Hasselhoff was so we've already got a bit of a Marvel connection
Yep.
there. Now, the argument against it that I was talking about before is nobody knows that.
But that's okay.
Nobody knows it, but he did pop. You know, I'll be willing to go to D on that. I'll take it out of the E cellar and I'll go to D on that. David Hasselhoff is Nick
I
Fury.
go because it's the kind of thing that Ryan Reynolds would do.
Yeah. Okay. So where would you rank this?
C.
You'll go C. I'll go
Yeah.
D. You'll go C. Jonathan,
That was as late as 1998. So okay, we're saying Hasselhoff, the Hoff.
the
Hawk.
Hawk as Nick Fury.
I'll go C.
C.
I'll
Ray.
go D.
Okay. So we round it down. So we go the Hoff as Nick Fury. All right. So we end up with down in the bottom only 2 inhabitants. I thought we were going to end up with more down there. 2 inhabitants in the E saying no chance in hell. Josh Brolin and Jared Leto as Morbius. In the D level, Thomas Jane as Punisher, Mahershala Ali as Blade, Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda, Josh Brolin as Thanos, Nick Cage as Ghost Rider, Tom Hardy as Venom, and the Hoff, David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury. In the 50-50 chance, we've got Ben Affleck as Daredevil, Chris Evans as Captain America, Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, Famke Janssen as Jean Grey, Henry Cavill as Wolverine variant. Notice I'm not saying Patrick, I'm just saying any variant. And Edward Norton as Hulk. Getting into the likelihood. B's, we got Chris Hemsworth as Thor, Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange, a mouthless Deadpool from X-Men Origins Wolverine, Ian McKellen as Magneto, Daphne Keane as X-23, Chris Evans as Johnny Storm, Owen Wilson as Mobius, James Marsden as Scott Summers, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, and the new Fantastic Four. And then up in our A stratosphere, saying
where we belong.
totally believe they're going to be in there. We'll be shocked if they're not. Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Wesley Snipes as Blade, Halle Berry as Storm, Channing Tatum as Gambit, Taylor Swift as Dazzler, or any other character, and Wong.
Oh, and Kevin Bacon as himself.
And Kevin Bacon as himself, which I wouldn't put that in E. I wouldn't put that in E.
That's a good one, actually.
Guys, question is for you. That was a long one, but question is for
So she
you.
said.
That's what she
What
said.
do you think about this? Are there any big major ones we missed out on? Would you have changed this one around a little bit? Maybe we rank some guys lower than you think we should have. Maybe we have some higher than you would have. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to get to the most important part of our show, which is taking your live comments and questions. But before we do, we're going to take another quick second here and thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at Cuts Clothing. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Cuts Clothing. Let's be real. Most guys would wear a t-shirt every day of their lives if we could. The problem is that most t-shirts are not acceptable to wear at work or out on a hot date. Today's sponsor, Cuts, has finally changed that. Cuts t-shirts are such high quality, wrinkle-free, and so buttery soft that you can look like you're dressing up even when you're dressing down. Yeah, you heard that right. They are wrinkle-free. And for a limited time, you can save money while redefining the dress code by heading to cutsclothing.com and use the code Campea for 20% off. Guys, you know me, when it comes to clothing, my number one priority is comfort, and I could not believe just how comfortable my Cuts shirt was. It was light, it breathed, it felt like $1,000,000, and it made me feel like I looked like $1,000,000 too. And the best part? Cuts clothing is built to last. Their durable construction means you'll be enjoying your favorite shirts and pants for years to come, making them a smart investment for your wardrobe. So guys, for a limited time, our listeners get 20% off your entire order when you use the code Campea at checkout. That's 20% off your order at cutsclothing.com with the promo code Campea. Please support our show by telling them that the John Campea Show sent you. Experience the perfect blend of style and comfort with Cuts Clothing. And thank you to our friends at Cuts Clothing for giving me some really sweet shirts and for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's get over to your comments here, shall we? Jonathan, what are we starting off with?
Hayden Center says, today's a great day, y'all. Glad to be here.
Good to have you here, and it's a wonderful day. All right, what's next?
Casinema says, X-Men 97 stuck the landing and then some. Also, I know it's not Josh Brolin, but is it me or does Cable in this show sound just like him?
I think Cable has a accepted type of sound to his voice that everybody tries to do, including Josh Brolin. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me that he sounded a bit like him. By the way, are we missing one from there, Jonathan? What wasn't the first one like a big one?
Oh, I think you mean this one right here.
Oh, there it was. It was the third one.
From Chance, $200.
$200 super chat. Chance, today's episode is also known as the Chance episode. Thank you so much, man, for supporting us on that level. That is incredibly generous of you, man. Thank you so much for that support.
If you were given the opportunity to travel back in time and witness one event from history firsthand, what would it be and why? And how do you think witnessing that event would change your perspective on the present?
You know, I've thought about this before. This is a question I've been asked before. And every time I think about it, I come up with a different answer. The meteor that killed the dinosaurs is one. The crucifixion of Jesus is one. From a helicopter, the sinking of a Titanic. from a helicopter, if I'd be able to do that, if that would be allowed in the rules here. The assassination that started World War I. I mean, there's a lot that comes to mind. Yeah. I mean, so, and every time I think about it, it's a different answer. Rob, do you have one that you think about?
I mean, obviously, I'd love to be there for the resurrection of Christ. If that at that time, I would like to know how they made the statues on Easter Island, even though or Stonehenge or
how the hell did they make the pyramids?
Or the pyramids? Yeah, to be there to see the megalith structures and how they would be built. I'd love to go back and see if there really was a cataclysm about 12,500 years ago and what civilization might have existed that was wiped out by that.
All right.
Mine's a moon landing, baby.
Moon landing would have been
the
huge.
Space race, the Cold War.
Yeah. Huge.
I'm old.
All right, dude. First of all, again, Chance, thank you so much for supporting us on that level. That's incredibly generous of you. We appreciate it. And everybody watching appreciates it, too, for you supporting the show that we all watch. All right. What's next?
I don't know why this got me, but John wants to watch everyone die from the safety of a helicopter.
John wants
I meant to really understand the horror of it. John just wants to watch everybody die.
Hey, let's not save them with this helicopter.
Can't interfere. That's right. I wouldn't even be thinking
Maybe
the helicopter can save those poor souls. I just want to watch.
I could poke a dead goldfish for you. A live goldfish on the show.
Not to save the people, just to watch. Can't interfere. Can't interfere. All right, what's next?
Okay, Damaris X-Men 97. What can we say, John? You were not that impressed, I reckon, and that might go for others too. But but like you said, all film and TV is subjective.
No, I was impressed.
Yeah,
I stayed up till midnight last night to watch the final episode of X-Men 97. And I listen, I really enjoyed X-Men 97. Yeah. I don't think it's the needle moving, like all-time classic thing that some people do. It's very much a show made for the Twitter generation. Quick, this happens. The one thing about the finale I was a little bit disappointed on is they do this big epic thing, at least in the comics, of ripping the adamantium from Wolverine. And it's not really even touched on in the follow-up. But for what it was, listen, there's not a lot of shows anymore that that make me stay up till midnight to see it drop. And X-Men 97 did that for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was an absolute worthy successor to the original animated show. Do I think it's a top 10 thing that Marvel's ever done? No. But I thought it was great, and I had a really good time with it. What about you, Rob?
I agree. It made me want to go back and read all my X-Men omnibuy, because I have all those storylines, and go back and read the originals.
You think they're leading up to Onslaught for the next season?
There's something to be said.
There's stuff there that hints they might be doing Onslaught.
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely that could be interesting. Although Onslaught was never that great.
I really liked Onslaught.
He was kind of goofy.
There was the goofiness aspect to Onslaught, but he's also one of the most overpowered things they've ever done.
But
the amalgamation of Charles Xavier and Magneto into one being. Woo! Gives me chills.
Hey,
all right.
I just real quick, because I got this push from CNBC, but Netflix ad-supported tier, did you see that? 40 million subscribers, double the last time it was counted. I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
We'll probably talk about that tomorrow. Hang on to that one.
Right.
So we'll bring that up tomorrow.
All right.
What's next?
We got Michael Crosan, who says thoughts on the new Bon Jovi documentary.
Haven't seen it.
Oh, it's out already?
Yeah. What was it called? It was called.
Dude, it's so generic. No, you would think it'd be called Bon Jovi Halfway There,
or Living on a Prayer,
or whatever.
Yeah, it was the wrong title.
No, it's like Rock and Roll Dudes.
Yeah, but listen, I grew up loving Bon Jovi's music. One of my favorite songs is his one from what's the Western?
Wanted Dead or
Alive. Dead or Alive.
Young Guns?
It's Young Guns. That's what it's from. Dead or Alive.
It's called Thank You Good Night.
One of my all-time favorite songs, Dead or Alive. Well, I walk these streets, a loaded 6-string on my back. I love that song. It's so good. But I haven't seen the documentary yet. No. All right. What's next?
Thank You Good Night. Come on. All right. Jason Williams. Wondering if you saw the full trailer for Megalopolis. It looks like either an epic film or a super train wreck. Honestly, I'm on board for both.
I did see the trailer. I thought the trailer was very interesting.
Yeah.
But everyone who has seen it has said it's a mess. The worst things have been pretty bad. The best things I've heard about it are, this is a problematic film to try to sell. So I've personally not heard anything good about the film, and the general consensus from the people I've spoken to. Now, remember, I've not seen the movie myself, so I'm just speaking for the people that I have heard secondhand, is that nobody believes a big domestic distributor is going to pick it up. A lot of people believe this is going to be destined for streaming. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Again, listen, I may see the film and think, what are they talking about? This is one of the best films I've ever seen. But so far, everything I've heard has been actually pretty negative, and nobody really feels it's going to get a big distributor pick it up. Rob, have you heard anything else?
No, but it's going to premiere at Cannes this week.
Yeah.
So we'll know.
Yeah, then we're getting a lot more feedback on it. I hope it's good. Listen, it's Francis Ford Coppola, so I hope it's great. We'll see. All right, what's next?
We got Amin who says, what's 7 feet tall and tipped with poison? Kareem Abdul Jabbar.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
I don't even understand the joke.
The Gom Jabbar is the
Oh, is that the
Paul
thing that
Atreides'
needle
neck
she puts in
with-
his neck?
Yeah.
Well, now I think it's kind of funny. Now the joke works for me. All right, what's next?
He was lucky he didn't get the drum on that one. Matt, will we see nine $1 billion films again like in 2019?
I don't think so. I think that was a really all things coming together perfectly kind of year. We will see $1 billion films. Obviously, we just had a couple of them. We almost had 3 because frickin' Oppenheimer got real close to getting there. But no, I don't think we'll see a year where 9 of them, at least not in my lifetime.
Right.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
We got Raymond. No, let's see. We got you know my name says, as others have been saying, John, give the Top Gear and Grand Tour specials a go. Jeremy, James, and Richard will have you in stitches. Start with Botswana special.
Here's the problem. I'm not a car guy. And I think you got to be a car guy to watch a show about cars. Now,
Do you though?
the counter argument to that is, I'm not really a soccer guy, but I loved Ted Lasso and I love Welcome to Wrexham. God, the new season has been great. I don't know if any of you guys have been keeping up on it, but the new season of Welcome to Wrexham has been really, really wonderful. So I'm saying I'm not a car guy, but I'm not a soccer guy. Look, to be honest with you, I don't really have any interest in those shows, so I probably won't be checking them out, but maybe I should consider it. Maybe I should. Have you watched any of those shows?
No, I
No?
never have.
Yeah. And they were like globally, like
Yeah,
Top
people-
Gear was
people-
like one of the biggest
they-
shows in the world.
People always send in that I should watch them, but I never have.
All right, what's next?
Raymond says Natasha Lyonne cast in Fantastic Four. Alicia Masters.
Has Natasha Lyonne been? Did that drop this morning?
We'll have to look that up.
If that's true, I mean, it's something we're gonna have to talk about tomorrow. She's wonderful.
Yeah, I love her.
So maybe.
Yep, latest to join Ensemble. 3 hours ago.
All right, well, that's one we're gonna have to talk about tomorrow. You know what? I've been thinking about moving the time of the show to 12:30 instead of 11:30, because more and more we're getting more news drop as we're doing the show. Anyway, there's a lot of drawbacks to us doing the show later, but anyway. All right, what's next?
No, my name is back and says watched Extraction 1 and 2. Those action scenes. Wow.
I never did watch Extraction 2 because Extraction 1 was horrible, but it did have awesome action.
Yeah,
in
it did.
Especially that car. The car stuff in Extraction was fantastic. I thought the movie was piss poor.
Yeah.
But I really did like the action stuff. The action stuff they completely nailed. All right, what's next?
Juliana Goodwin says, which would you pick? Trivia test about Lord of the Rings with Stephen Colbert or movie trivia with Meyer Burnett? And who do you think would win?
Colbert would wipe the floor with me.
In a Lord of the Rings thing, listen, not a lot of people, not everyone knows this. Stephen Colbert is a Lord of the Rings crackhead.
Oh.
Like he is more than obsessed with Lord
From
of the
the
Rings.
book perspective,
Yeah.
not the movie perspective.
No, and he loved the movies, but I mean, he knows everything about Lord of the Rings. I don't know anybody that could beat him in that.
And the thing is, my movie trivia is really limited, the stuff that I know the most about when I had time to watch movies. So I would say from the 70s up through the mid 90s is when I'm best. And going backwards too, but modern stuff
Which is why when you and I were a tag team in Movie Trivia Schmodown, we remained undefeated.
We were undefeated.
We were undefeated in Movie Trivia Schmodown as a tag team. And we had a good balance of the knowledge there.
Yes, we did.
All right, what's next?
Christian Harlos moving away now.
Yeah, moving to New York.
Suthia says, I've only seen X-Men Origins Wolverine only once, and that's okay. And it was actually the infamous unfinished version that leaked a few months prior. Till this day, I still have no desire to watch the final product.
No. Listen, X-Men Origins Wolverine still had its moments.
The first hour is pretty good.
Listen, Liev Schreiber in it is wonderful. I thought he was, even though it made no sense with the continuity of X-Men, because Tyler Mane was already Sabretooth, made no sense. He was a great Sabretooth. And they created this new lore that they were actually brothers and all that. It's like they did some interesting stuff. Overall, not good. So you're not missing anything by skipping out on it. All right, what's next?
Walter White Walker says, is John Williams as successful without Holst?
There are some people who think he lifted stuff. Yes, the answer to that is yes, 100%. I mean, listen, there is nobody in Hollywood history. Every big catchy movie theme you can think of, probably John Williams. Anything from na 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 na. I mean, everybody knows. Oh, Jurassic Park. Instantly, people know. You go bum ba bum 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 bum. Everybody. Oh, Harry Potter. Let alone Superman. Let alone Star Wars. Let alone Indiana Jones. Let alone like whatever. Like there are very very few music tunes that you can start humming just the first 9 bars where people instantly get it. That's not a John Williams one. So.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Rob, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, look, there's also, like, if you listen to Eric Korngold's score for King's Row, it's very much Star Wars. And John Williams was definitely influenced by it. But, I mean, there's only so much in the world that exists. Everybody's influenced by everybody. I mean, James Horner kept ripping himself off. So it's... But, yeah, I mean, Holtz, the planets, obviously, anything to do with space. I mean, Eric Idleman did Cliff Idleman based the whole score for Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, as a riff on the planets and did it really well. So it's, Holtz. I love Holtz. Mars, the Bringer of War is a great piece of music.
All right, what's next?
Oh my Josh says, tinfoil hat, the last word on Taylor Swift's latest album is dazzling. She's a very intentional purpose who always adds Easter eggs, just saying.
Is that really the last word of the last song on her album is dazzling? Listen, you're not wrong. She does do stuff like that. I don't. One of my favorite lines from the Tom Brady roast was when what's the name? What's her name? The comedian who just killed it.
Oh, Nikki.
Glazer.
Yeah.
When Nikki Glazer goes, honestly, Tom, I'm not really into sports. I never watched football until Taylor Swift said it was okay to do it. I love that. Oh, by the way, which reminds me of another joke she made at another roast. I can't remember who they were roasting, but Jewel was one of the panelists, and Nikki Glazer looks over at Jewel, and Jewel's here, or as I like to call her, Trailer Swift, which I thought was another great Taylor Swift joke that she made. You might be onto something. That there could be meaning to that. I don't know for sure, but there could be. All right, Trailer Swift. I love that. All right, what's next?
1253 Sir 3 says, in your opinion, is it better to reboot a franchise entirely, start from scratch, or make the new films tie into the old ones? So, e.g., prequels and sequels.
Well, it depends on the IP, right? Yeah. Like if your IP is a modern day IP, then you can't do 20 years later unless it actually is 20 years later. Generally speaking, in general, I think it's good to just have a fresh reboot. But every IP is different, and somebody might come up with a great story idea for something that happens in the same universe 20 years later or 30 years later. There's no one answer. Like, everybody likes the idea of just there being formula. This is always better than this. But it's not. So I guess if I had to pick one, I would say clean sheet reboot. But it's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. It really depends on the IP. Rob, how would you answer that?
I think you're right. I mean, if you're going to reboot something, you start from scratch, or it's not a reboot if you're tying it into other films. You know, you're adding to that IP.
Yeah, it's more a relaunch.
It's more of a relaunch. So I think it really depends. What is it you're after? Like the Mad Max movies are all sort of in the same world kind of thing, but you know, who knows? Whereas you look at like the Tomb Raider movies, those are the Alicia I keep wanting to say Vendikar.
Vikander?
Vendikar is a planet in Star Trek. But Vikander, that was a reboot. That was not a prequel or anything like that.
All right, what's next?
Mr. I says, excuse me. No spoilers, but that finale for X-Men 97. Hope we're not waiting too long for season 2.
It was a good finale.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the best episode of the season. I don't think they completely nailed a lot of stuff. They rushed through like the whole series, but a number of things they just really hopscotched, really rushed through very, very, very fast. But I got a big kick out of it. And again, I think they're foreshadowing Onslaught, but you know, we'll see. Overall though, I mean, I think I don't know why they decided to do an X-Men 97. But I'll tell you what, it turned out about as good as it could have turned out.
Yeah.
I was very, very happy with this series. I had a good time watching it. All right, what's next?
Okay. Walter White Walker says, Hulse the Planets was way before its time.
Yeah, that was like 1915, 1916, 1917, or something like that. I mean, look, artists always take influence from other artists. I mean, that's a part of it. So would John Williams have been without that? Yes, absolutely he would have been. All right, what's next?
Edward Wells says, just like Magneto, Proxima Caesar was right.
Yes and no. And Magneto wasn't actually like, was he right that humans will tend to do this? Well, even Charles knows that, but he still believes that ultimately at the end of the day, it can whatever. So was Proximus right? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. All right, what's next?
Cody Hunt says, my grandma is already through John Wick 2 and 3 on to 4.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
Your grandma's on a rampage.
He wrote in the other day saying, my grandmother discovered this movie, John Wick. It's like, well, the stuff with the dog. That's awesome. You know somebody really likes a franchise when they're barreling it through it that fast. That's great that she's onto that. All right, what's next?
Thomas Bombadil says, hi, team. Is anyone watching Sugar with Colin Farrell on Apple TV? Not only is it great, it also has an absolute insane twist.
I love Colin Farrell. I love the shows on Apple TV, and I have not yet started watching this.
Yeah, I got to start it.
Absolutely on my list, though. You've seen some of it, though, right?
I have, and I've seen all of it.
You've seen all of it?
Yeah. If you can, stay away from the spoiler.
Okay.
Because
yeah, I've heard nothing. I've heard nothing about it.
Okay.
All right, but but okay.
Yeah, let's just leave it as that.
Maybe later today I'll start watching it. I've been meaning to get on it. I just got to get around to it. All right, what's next?
Walter Whitewalker says, happy birthday, Robert Burnett. Our RB seems like it was just yesterday.
Thank you. Yes, everybody's been wishing me a happy birthday every single day for the last 4 months.
That's right. As a matter of fact, you came in here today.
And today is my birthday. And look, I got a bunch of stuff. I got a physical media,
Like a Netflix
pillow.
thing for watching.
A few things we're waiting
and
for.
of course, Ray was kind enough to get me a Rebel Moon Jimmy figure.
Dude, have you seen Rebel Moon? It's super cool.
That's super cool. And of course,
Don't drop
I
the
got
cake.
a Carlos everybody's birthday cake. Everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna have some of that. baby.
Multi-layered.
having a little
buddy.
bit of that after the show's done.
Yeah, it's all good.
All right, what's next?
All right. CM Waters, film enthusiast, says, I hope there's at least one cameo. No one would be able to guess my favorite cameo in No
Way Home.
No Way Home, sorry, was one everyone was blind to.
Which one was that? What was the cameo that nobody predicted? I
Was
can't
it-
think.
Oh, I don't. I have no idea.
Maybe he's saying like one of the Spider-Men, maybe like
I'm thinking it's more of a.
What is
No,
it? Villains?
everybody knew. Everybody
Yeah.
knew a year in advance
Yeah.
that Toby and Andrew were going to be in
But
it.
the villains, maybe?
Like Sandman or anyway, listen, I 100% believe there's going to be at least
Oh.
one cameo that happens.
Was it
Daredevil, everybody was blind to.
Oh,
Oh,
Matt Murdock was in it. And I
Yeah.
actually did jump at that one when I saw it.
that was a great. That was a
but
great
even
surprise.
then, there were reports about 4 months before the movie came out. There were reports that he might. Anyway, that aside, I absolutely guarantee you there's going to be at least one cameo that's going to shock everybody. That's going to shock all of us. At least one. I think they're going to be able to pull that off. All right, what's next?
Nicholas Hammond is Spider-Man.
Seconds from Disaster. Let's go. Age of Apocalypse for season 2. Do you think they knew that was him by the facial markings?
They know En Sabanur.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think they know that's Apocalypse. That is not how you set up Age of Apocalypse. So no, they're not doing Age of Apocalypse in season 2. I really believe they're doing Onslaught, and they could be doing multiple storylines like they did this year as well. But I don't think they're doing the Age of Apocalypse one for next year. All right, what's next?
David Maxwell with a $20 super chat.
Thank you, David.
I just graduated college on Star Wars Day.
Oh,
Nice.
congratulations.
Thank you all for giving me this podcast to listen to throughout my time in college. I looked forward to listening to you guys on the drive to my internship. You're all the best.
Dude,
thank you.
congratulations. Listen, it is not an easy thing getting through your degree. There's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of late nights. And that's one of the big, I think, accomplishments you can do as an individual, is to work your way through that and get there. And congratulations on that. And thank you for letting us accompany you on the way, man. That's awesome. All right, what's next?
Okay. Juan Diego says, hello, everyone. Did you see The Killer by David Fincher? If so, what did you think about it? And what was your favorite movie of his? He is my favorite director.
I did not end up liking it as much as I was hoping. The concept is great. Michael Fassbender is wonderful in it, but I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't dislike it. I was just the trailers and like Fincher, like being in it together. I was expecting something different, I think. And so at the end of the day, I'm glad I watched it. I didn't think it was great though. It's certainly not a memorable movie for me. Rob, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to like it more than I did. I still really liked it. You know, it was really well made. And Fincher's one of my favorite directors. I mean, for me, I love Zodiac. I love The Social Network. I love Seven. You know?
Yeah. All right, what's next?
Brian Garcia says, hi, everyone. With Deadpool 3 likely to have X-Men cameos and the X-Men coming to the MCU in the near future, is it a good or bad idea to keep McAvoy and Fassbender as the MCU's Xavier Magneto?
Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They are going to. Kevin Feige will start with his own. It's like when a new GM comes to a team, he's going to put his own coaching staff in there. Like he's going to create his own guys. Plus, you don't want to bring over any of the potential baggage from the previous franchise either. So, we didn't talk about either Fassbender or McAvoy in our potential cameos list. There's a potential they could cameo in Deadpool, but them actually being the Xavier and Magneto in the new Marvel universe is zero. Absolutely. I don't know, Rob, do you see it any differently?
No, I don't think they're gonna. They can't. Like you said, they have to change it all up. They have to start from scratch. Otherwise, you've got the remnants stuck around.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what part of the reason this movie exists.
Yep.
It's going to wipe all that away
the same way.
definitively.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
John Lee says Lionsgate just announced they're doing a John Wick spinoff for Donnie Yen's Kane character. I'm pretty hyped.
There had been a report about the potential of that a few months ago.
I'd watch the heck out of that.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I am down for that. I mean, I'm more interested in John Wick 5, but I am absolutely down for that because his character in that movie was great.
Great.
All right, what's next?
Zen says, have you seen Dark Matter on Apple TV?
That's the Edgerton.
Yeah.
I have not seen it yet.
Only 2 episodes. You can catch up.
All right.
I mean,
but you said it's pretty dour.
It is. I liked it, but it's pretty. Yeah, it's pretty dour. It's not. It's sad, and it just. I'll tell you one thing. The end of episode 2 shocked the hell out of me.
Huh? All right. Well, it's only 2 episodes in. I'll have a chance to catch up. All right. What's next?
Okay. Sholo says, what would you say was the best year at the movies? For me, it's 2014. From Winter Soldier to Whiplash to Interstellar to Dawn.
I don't freaking know. I can't, other than saying what year the original Star Wars movie came out, I don't know movie years. So I have no idea. I mean, our friend Scott Mantz just made a documentary about it, making the argument that it was 1984.
Yeah.
1984?
82.
82. Yeah.
82. And that's a strong argument, but I have
1939
no
is a big
idea.
one.
I have no idea because I don't remember what year.
Was that
movies
Wizard
came
of
out.
Oz, Gone with the Wind?
Oh wow, that's a pretty big.
Yeah,
killer
you
show.
didn't know I knew that, did
That's
you?
pretty good, buddy.
That was actually recently when we got John Wick
I'm
4
impressed.
and Dungeons and Dragons and all those movies in 1 year. I thought, because we were on a streak, remember, John?
Oh yeah,
I said,
you went to like 7 movies in a row that you loved.
yeah, so it had to be that year.
By the way, guys, just since Ray brought it up, if you still haven't seen the Chris Pine Dungeons and Dragons movie, it's on streaming. Go watch it. It's really
It's
fun.
really fun.
It's a really fun movie. Should have done much better at the box office. All right, what's next?
Seconds from Kyle McComb. Intrusive Thoughts, the new ScarJo and Channing Tatum movie, Fly Me to the Moon. Tatum's mannerisms and speech reminds me of John in the trailer. We'll have to see that.
I have not seen the trailer.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
When did the trailer for that drop?
What's that? Fly Me to the Moon?
Yeah.
By the way, I watch that Nathan Fillion show, The Rookie. In the last couple of years, Channing Tatum's ex-wife has been a series regular in that, playing
Oh,
Nathan
right.
Fillion's new squeeze. She's
Yeah.
delightful. I really like her in it.
I don't
Anyway.
know when it dropped, actually.
You got
Look it
anything
up.
on that, Ray?
No, I don't see it. I don't see anything recently.
Oh, Cord Cutter is saying it actually dropped last month. I don't
Yeah,
even
it
remember.
said
I don't remember it
1 month
dropping at
ago.
all.
1 month ago.
I don't
Oh
remember
wait,
it
that's
dropping at all.
that's the real. I thought it was like some new site. It's the thing where they play. It's during the real space program, like in the '60s.
Okay.
I gotta watch
yeah.
Okay.
I
saw
don't.
that trailer.
That one flew completely under my radar. I never even saw it. All right, what's next?
Seconds from Disaster says, I think the Agatha name changes was all a joke just to say at the end it was Agatha all along. Cue Sally Fields the whole time. The whole time.
No, I said that during the show day. I 100% believe
Yeah.
that.
That's great.
I 100% believe that the title was always
Yeah.
Agatha all along.
Also,
What's the title? Well, it's been Agatha all along. I mean, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Played me like a fool.
and all of those were subtitles before. It was
But-
Agatha's subtitle. This is Agatha all along, one title.
By the way, a couple of people brought this up in the live chat when we were talking about it, and I think they might be onto something. Agatha House of Harkness, Agatha Coven of Chaos, Agatha Darkhold Diaries, Agatha the Lion Witch with the Great Wardrobe. These could be episode titles. And I didn't think of that. A couple of people in the live chat had mentioned that during the show. And you know what? I think they might be onto something. I think those could actually be titles
Yeah.
of the individual episodes.
You're too smart, people.
Yeah, our people are really
Too
smart.
smart.
All right.
Imposter with a $20 super chat.
Thank you, Imposter.
Hi, John. After the X-Men finale, I think I could care less about another MCU live action show. I would much rather prefer more animation and perhaps a 90s animated universe and leave live action to the movies.
No. Again, I think X-Men 97 was great for what it was. But again, it's not, it's very Twitter storytelling. Everything is very, very shorthand for the short attention span. And it was great for what it was. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. But was it WandaVision? No. Wasn't nearly as good as WandaVision or anything like that. Again, that's up to everybody to decide for themselves. It's art. It's all subjective. But, and listen, to be honest, I would be kind of okay if Marvel decided to abandon the live action Disney Plus stuff anyway and just focus on movies in general. But at the same time, it was great for what it was, but I don't lose sight of what it was. It was a very shorthand, very abbreviated, very Twitter made thing. And again, great for what it was. I had a great time watching it, but it doesn't actually, you can't actually compare it to really well-made narrative driven storytelling. Now, you could then argue that there hasn't been a lot of great narrative in-depth storytelling in the Disney Plus shows as it is. Maybe 2 or 3 of the shows out of the 7 or 8 they've done. But again, I really liked it. I stayed up till midnight every time it came out to watch the new episode. All right, what's next?
Let's see. Mr. I says, happy birthday, Robert.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
And then Sam Fisher says, I can see all those Agatha title changes actually being
there you go.
the episode titles.
Yep. A few people said that in the live chat while we were doing it, and I actually really agree. I think that's a really good observation. All right, what's next?
All right. I didn't have this soundbite ready for you, so you get away with it, South Texas Shark. South Texas Shark says cats are scientifically bad for the environment, but you just made the list.
Yep. Yep. I mean, they make good mulch for fertilizer, maybe for a garden. Yeah, cats are pests. Cats are pests.
Silly.
All right, what's next?
Let's see. Mr. I says, Robert, my fellow connoisseur of physical media, what's your thoughts on the HD DVD format? I have about 100 of them. I personally feel the picture quality is better than standard Blu-ray at 1080p.
Now, a lot of people forget when the discs started coming out.
Yeah, everyone was like, yours is the superior.
Much like the tape, it was VHS and Betamax. And then because porn used VHS, that kind of won out the day, and VHS became the dominant predator. Then when the disc started, there were 2 formats. There was Blu-ray and HD DVD. And ultimately the Blu-ray run out. But I don't know what it was that was the tipping factor.
Well, I think that because the Blu-ray format was Sony's format, it was interesting because Sony did not license out enough of their beta technology, whereas VHS, Matsushita just gave VHS to everybody. Take it. And they were able to make a lot more. But I don't necessarily think HD. I have not compared the two. I have a couple of HD DVD discs left, but I've never A-B'd them.
You have to we had to watch them on PlayStations basically because it was Sony. Like after a while, you couldn't even get the players. So
yeah, it's true. I bought all the Star Trek episodes on HD DVD. Go figure.
All right, what's next?
You know what? That was it.
Oh, and guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here and making this little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the super chats, especially who was it that sent in like the $200? Chance. Especially Chance for that. To all you guys for sending in those questions. Number 1, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported our channel as you did it. And all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. Don't forget to come on back and join the four of us again tomorrow, where apparently we're going to be talking about some new Fantastic Four castings and a whole bunch of other things. So for Ray Ora,
See you guys later.
Jonathan Voico,
Later.
Robert Meyer Burnett,
Live long and prosper.
my name's John Campea. Happy birthday to Rob again. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.